אני רוצה לומר ככה, חבר הכנסת מרגי, תודה רבה על העלאה של ההצעה החשובה הזו. אני חושבת שככה המקרה של חבל ביאפרה הוא באמת מקרה מאוד מאוד קשה.
I want
to congratulate our parliament member, Nissim Vaturi. He was the first that supported us. He was the one that managed our historical day on 18th of February. And he is now, he signed, we have his signature. I want to say thank you very much. And I want to say תודה רבה.
תודה רבה, ניסים, תודה. אין עליך.
So signed for us. So we have another signature a minute before we are going home.
Thanks God.
Thank God, thank God, thank God.
Recognition of Biafra's United States of Biafra by Knesset, parliament, which means lawmakers, lawmaking body in Israel is called Knesset. I just want to explain to my viewers to understand where I am going. I don't understand. In America, the congressmen are the lawmakers in America. In Israel, the Knesset parliament are the lawmakers in Israel. And Israeli security operatives is called Mossad. I want our viewers to understand where I'm going. They have given Biafra recognition certificates. They made it global. On a global framework, it is now actually understood that Israel lawmaking body has accepted Biafra recognition. Biafra emancipation is what has been putting Benjamin Netanyahu and Bennett, Naphtali, the former Israeli president that Netanyahu, let me say, replaced. Now, they have recognized Biafra, meaning state of Biafra is now on their what? Blueprint. Blueprint, meaning part of the policy that Israel is about to implement in recent time. They have recognized Biafra. Now, Gumi is tensed up. Gumi is suffering from heart attack, as well as Asoróck, who has gone into hiding as a result of American military operation in Nigeria. Listen, when Israel said yes, and American congressmen said yes, and the British parliament said no, failure, let me say, earth-breaking failure is British government right now. Why? The two major superpower we have in the world are America and Israel. Recognition of Biafra has become their utmost imperative. Wonderful. Utmost imperative in the sense that congressman has recognized Biafra and the Israeli Knesset lawmaking body in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem has recognized United States of Biafra. This is going to be very, very plain to the entire earth that Biafra is no longer a strange story in Israel, but a widely recognized narrative that Biafra has come. If Israel turns its back on Biafra, it means we have not gone anywhere. But this time we are moving to the right direction with Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, a dog of war, a man that has actually fought Syria to stand still, fought Iran and crippled Iranian Islamic state to full stop. But right now they are promoting Biafra. Courtesy what Donald Trump administration in the United States of America has achieved so far for Igbo man. Igbo man, being a Jew, is what has actually given us this kind of wonderful global recognition by Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, and the entire Israeli making body. Biafra is coming very soon. If you don't like Biafra and you are a Nigerian or a Fulani man or wherever you come from, we don't care. The only thing for you now is go and hit your head on the rock. It is upcoming. It is there. So plain and clear that Biafra is coming without anybody contemplating or militating against that. No factor whatsoever is now militating emergence of Biafra. Everybody has actually been dreaming about Biafra, speaking Biafra, living Biafra, and the entire southeastern Nigeria are rejoicing and celebrating quite in diaspora and in the local land of southeastern region Nigeria because of what Benjamin Netanyahu and all the lawmakers in Israeli House of Knesset are doing right now. We have come of a very long way. That is an achievement put down by our great leader, the leader of the largest agitation group in the world. I mean, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whose issue has been discussed today at Abuja by all the kings in the southern Nigeria, especially the Igbes, the Ezes, the Ozors, the Idigos, the Oba of Benin, the Ato of Igala. All of them were represented, at Abuja today, bringing down the Council of Traditional Chiefs, which is a superstitious platform brought by Tinubu administration to impose Oni of Ife on all the kings, on all the monarchs, Igbes, Ezes in Igbo land. They said, no, we are Igbos. Our own traditional system is quite different from the Southwest. You are not going to impose your own traditional system on us. Whatever you bring an incentive as an incentive that belongs to the Igbos, bring it to Southeast. Don't give to Uni to give us. We are better. And I want to tell you who actually lectured Tinubu that Oni of Ife is bigger than all the traditional chiefs in Igala land and Igbo land and the Bini land, even Idoma land. Tinubu has failed by trying to subjugate the Igbo's traditional system and imposing Oyo on us. No, that is what all the Igbo Ezes, Igbo Igbes, Igbo Ozos, and all the autonomous, communities in Igbo land with their representatives, being present today in Abuja. We, Nigeria as well, are not discussing about Kanu's coming to court again. Or they are ordering Tinubu to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Big celebration in Israel as I'm speaking with you, because the Knesset members have finally signed up for a date for Biafra declaration, and this has caused massive celebration in Israel. But do you think this will come to fruition?
Good news. That's what that was titled. I can watch the video as you watch the video at the background. That is Raphael, and one of the was one of the IPO before. A lot of them who does not know about Raphael. Raphael is a typical Jewish woman married to an Igbo man who is passionate about the Biafran struggle, and it has also a direct link with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If you look at that woman, she has overwhelming influence within the Israeli government, and he's passionate about because he feels that the Israel and Biafra shares the same narrative, the same story, how Israel came up to become a nation, what actually transpired. And he went as far as telling the parliament from the news that actually break out before now that the 1970 Nigeria Biafra war, that Israel was actually engaged in a war, and they were not able to do much to assist Israel. And secondly, the Israeli Jews have also identified as the Black Hebrews as being the Biafrans or the Igbo people. Let me just put it that way. And a lot of Igbos are residing in Israel. And before now, I just want to take you a little bit backward. There was a resolution that was also carried out where we have over 70% of the Knesset parliament, agreeing, coming to a resolution about the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and of course, to an extension, the Biafran struggle. And the way the American government is coming up with, development and everything, is thrown to the open now. There's this understanding within the Likud party, powered by the Benjamin Netanyahu, who is also making statement about what they wanted to do in Nigeria. But behind the scene, a legislative movement has been going on, and close to victory. Yes, and what I mean, close to victory. They have been taking up signatures. They have been. I think the last one was actually today, where they gathered the overwhelming required veto power in the parliament to mandate the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to go ahead and declare Biafra as a sovereign nation. A lot of people did not see it coming, but in fact, from what we are hearing, the Israelis themselves, citizens themselves, are in total jubilation. Because I always say it, there's a reason why Benjamin stated that they want an allied nation in West Africa. And when they made that statement, they were actually looking at the Biafran nation, or the recognition of Biafra, to be able to create an ally of Israel in West Africa. And the most popular nation, or the most popular race or tribe that everybody is actually eyeing within that Middle East, especially Israel, is the Republic of Biafra. And that is why when I said that they are making this enlightenment awareness all over the world now, because there's so much concentration around the world now, given what is happening within the Middle East. So people are also interested to see resolutions, how the Knesset parliament, I think one of the most powerful Senate. When they say Knesset is like a Senate, an assembly of Senate in Israel. They call theirs, Knesset, but in America they call their own Senate, Congress. So they have gotten to that point now, and the endorsement.
So in fact, I feel there's no going back on this. From what is happening now, you feel there's a very big chance and big hope for Biafrans that in no distant time Biafra will
it looks like matter don't finish. You understand? Because Nigeria will be moving from left to right, pretending as if nobody can have anything over them, even though we know that Nigeria has actually lost their sovereignty. I wonder what they're going to do. Whether they are going to rise up and challenge Israel, say they don't have the power to recognize, then they will face the consequences. But I always say that it has gotten to the point that the global world, the most powerful nations, are going to play a major role in Biafra, a struggle and recognition. And I said it very clearly that if United States continue to play high level of diplomacy on the issue, even though they have their own plan at the end of the day, but we would know that during the last visit, the 7th visit of Benjamin Netanyahu to Washington, where he met with Donald Trump and all that, there was a leaked report that the issue of disintegration of Nigeria was also mentioned, and the only thing that is on top of the table currently now is Biafra. So the parliament themselves, have sat down, and they are taking up signatures, and they have concluded that. So what they are going to do, for people who does not actually understand what is actually playing out, when these things are being properly, done through the legislative chambers, and with Benjamin Netanyahu securing another major victory among the Likud party to lead Israel in an election again, gathers a lot of momentum and also triggered a lot of jubilation among Biafran communities all over the world. Those who understand what is actually, playing out, to the surprise of many, like Mazen Namdekano will also say. And the most beautiful thing there is that, Mazen Namdekano case matter is also being discussed, but the primary aim is that they know very clearly that the liberation, when these things are being concluded, that Mazen Namdekano will not stay in Sokoto prison while Biafra is being recognized. And what they needed to do is to mandate the Congress or United States of America not to issue a statement that Mazen Namdekano should report to Washington, D.C. for a brief meeting with Donald Trump. Maybe from there, he will now move to Israel and other, and within a space of days, on recognition, then we'll see a different thing entirely. At least Israel has made their stand known about Nigeria. Yes, anybody that tells you, even Asoróck, that tells you that the Israeli Prime Minister has not made a statement about Nigeria and what is happening in Nigeria, that means they are not saying the truth. But they wouldn't want to come out straight to tell you, this is actually what they are looking at or what they intend doing. But it's become very crystal clear when you see their Senate, the Knesset Parliament, taking decisive steps towards the recognition, plot, and reaching a certain agreement, with Biafran Israeli lobbyists who has already seems to have dominated the parliament in that regard, getting endorsement and support of almost on daily basis, adding up to what they used to have before. And once that thing is actually agreed, like what we saw today is going to be the end, they are going to make their resolution finally to the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, and possibly in a short while, he will just come up one day and announce the recognition of Biafra, just like the way they did in Somaliland. And remember, Ted Cruz has also prophesied that, from Somaliland to Biafran land, these are classified informations. A lot of people will not want to, read meaning into it. But, looking at things from different, perspective, from the perspective of which we believe that the Biafran time has actually come. And we continue to celebrate this. Biafrans all over the world we continue to celebrate this victory. It's a big victory, and no matter how you see it. And Israel is a trusted ally in terms of, and when they come up with something, they don't go back. Even though the United States of America might be playing high level of diplomacy, in trying to make everything look as if at the end of the day, they know where they are actually headed. But the Israeli system is is quite different. They don't like conspiracy. When they be compromised, let me put it that way. But when they tell you that A is A, you should be able to know that A is A. There seems to be a victory smile everywhere, jubilation, tears of joy. That nobody saw it coming. That this has gotten to that level. But we must celebrate, the legacies Mazi Nnamdi Kanu left behind. And I keep on telling people there's a reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu established 100-man committee. It's not to disrespect the DOS or IPOB, but the fear of infiltration, And those, unfortunately, those 100 men is not known to anybody. It's only known to, the structures of Mazi Nnamdi that have already created. And they are going to have a deep impact in what is going to come at the end of the day.
But do you think that if not for the war going on between Israel, Iran, and US, do you think by now Biafra should have, the Israeli parliament should have done what it's supposed to have done?
The war, exposed a lot of things to even the Israeli government and the American government too, because it was discovered that most of the terrorist organizations, jihad, had been carried all over the world, that Iran is actually, behind them. And there's no how they will create a new nation without dismantling some of this network, within Africa, West Africa, and beyond, and that is what they are trying to do, because, it will actually take some time for Biafra to actually, be rooted as a nation that is just coming up, or that is just, taking off without any further threat. So that is what it is actually strategic. I can tell you that. And by the time they are trying to re-elect Benjamin Netanyahu for the second time under the Likud party, it is going to be very, very serious, because Israel is going to play a major role in establishing the structure security-wise in Biafra land. Having invited Mike Emeagwali, the computer guru, who was able to, how would I put it, calculate over 1 million words in a second. That is Emeagwali is currently in Israel today, as I speak to you. Renowned Emeagwali, and everybody knows him. A Microsoft guru, one of the people that discovered, what we are talking about today in terms of, computerization. Yes, he was the first person to calculate 1 billion informations in 1 second. It was a major breakthrough for him, and he happens to be an Igbo man, and currently now he is in. We don't know why the Israeli government actually invited him, but I can tell you it's in connection with the Biafran struggle. We are trying to build a Biafran nation that will be, security guided by as a result of where the world is actually heading to now. The AI era is already around, and there's this understanding that there should be protection of our sovereign secret intelligence files, and that's what I believe one of the reasons why Emeagwali was actually invited by the Israeli government.
What do you think after the declaration of Biafra by the Israeli government? Do you think the next step for the Israeli government to take is to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu comes out, or do you think they will do the coming out of Nnamdi Kanu before the declaration?
When everything is being perfected, they will just issue an ultimatum, and that ultimatum will be carried out in less than 24 hours. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu can be flew out of Nigeria. And remember that United Nations has also made this statement signaling, they are not comfortable with Nigeria anymore coming together, as a nation. So you can see all these things are actually happening. So Mazen Nnamdi Kanu cannot be in prison where Biafra is being recognized, because once Biafra is being recognized, Sokoto cannot be part of Biafra land, and it cannot be in Sokoto. So they have their way, they have their means, they have calculated everything, and they know what to do at the right time. But there is possibility that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is going to meet the world leaders over the recognition of Biafra. And apart from that, there are so many people too who are on the working system pipeline to make sure that everything is actually being put in place. I can tell you that Asoróck can never disobey the Israeli government when they order the immediate release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and it's going to be backed up by the Congress. So everywhere is fortified, everywhere is tight for Nigeria over the issue of Biafra. There's no how they can escape it. Nigeria must go to the end. At the end of the day, and Biafra will emerge, victorious. We don't want to know anybody that feel otherwise should go and fight for his own country. Time of mockery has come and gone. We lost over 6 billion Biafrans during the Nigeria Biafra war, and this time around, I don't think it's going to repeat itself. Yes, because the children of the press have risen, and the Biafrans all over the world are not joking with their identity and who they are. They finally discovered. They are the black Hebrew of Africa, and the Israeli is in line in that action, or in that understanding, or in that belief that they need to have an ally. I watch Benjamin Netanyahu always say they need an ally, an allied nation in West Africa, and Biafra has what it takes to stand as a powerful nation in Africa. Like everybody will say, in Biafra, Africa died, but Africa, this time around is going to rise in Biafra.
We defend our common civilization. Together, with God's help, freedom will triumph over tyranny. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless Israel. And may God bless our great alliance. Happy birthday. Happy Independence Day, America. There are moments when history speaks to us. This is one of them. My dear friends, President Trump and the people of America, today, the United States celebrates 250 years of independence, 250 years of freedom, 250 years of defending freedom. On behalf of the people of Israel, I wish you all a happy and joyful Independence Day. My friends, this 4th of July carries a special meaning for me personally. Exactly 50 years ago, as America celebrated its bicentennial, Israel carried out one of the greatest hostage rescue missions in history, Operation Jonathan in Entebbe, Uganda. More than 100 innocent hostages were brought home alive by our courageous soldiers. One commander did not, my brother Yoni. He gave his life so that others could live. This is what the brave soldiers of Israel and America have done again and again in these 50 years. And 50 years later, we are still defending freedom. We may live in different continents, but there's a strong bond between us because we have one destiny. We know that freedom is never cheap. It must be continually purchased. It must be continually defended. America has been the greatest force for liberty the modern world has known. Israel is proud to stand beside her. Israel is proud to stand beside all of you because our alliance is built not only on shared interest, it's built on shared values. Today, those values are under attack. The tyrants we face chant, "Death to America, death to Israel." They think freedom is weak. They think democracies are weak. They're wrong about our two democracies because when America and Israel stand together, freedom stands stronger. Together we defend freedom. Together we defend our common civilization. Together, with God's help, freedom will triumph over tyranny. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless Israel. and may God bless our great alliance. Happy birthday, happy Independence Day, America.
ביאפרה אומרת לכם מקום רחוק שמזוהה עם טבח, עם רעב. היום זאת מדינת חסות של ניגריה, איבדה את עצמאותה, והמדינה הזאת נלחמת על חייה.
The meaning of Biafra means freedom, fairness, liberty, equity, love, and peace. Biafrans, they die in thousands, and nobody is saying anything. And we are here in British embassy to tell them that we are not happy again with what is going on in Biafra land. The Biafran people, they need freedom.
The struggle for pro-independence groups to separate Biafra from Nigeria is still going strong more than 50 years after a brutal civil war over secessionist rebellion.
And the value of IPOB is very simple: to restore Biafra, to make sure that Biafra comes by whatever means possible.
המנהיג שלה, נמדי קנו, מוטל היום בכלא בניגריה אחרי שנחטף מקניה.
הוא נחטף באופן לא חוקי על ידי שתי מדינות זרות בעודו נושא דרכון אנגלי.
ולכן ההפגנה שמתקיימת כאן בתל אביב על ידי אנשי ביאפרה היא כנגד השגרירות הבריטית, שאגב שלחה רק קצין ביטחון כדי לקבל את העצומה של אנשי ביאפרה שחותמים למען שחרורו של קנו.
נחטף בקניה.
Rescue of more than 400 women and children there. In truth, there was no rescue. The captives had been held 3 kilometers from the military base the whole time. A ransom of roughly 6 billion naira, more than $4 million, was paid in U.S. currency. Nearly 10 years of that entire local area government's budget handed by the Nigerian government to a designated foreign terrorist organization. I've spoken with the man who brokered these terms. He has terrorists on tape confirming it. Others on the ground confirm it too. The Nigerian government called it a rescue. When the release was announced, my acquaintance went there to look for his nieces. He was told they were not released because they had resisted converting to Islam. Most of the women and children released were not even from Ngosha. We don't know where they were from. The women were wearing hijabs, forcibly converted as the price of release. An imam has been recruited by Boko Haram specifically to convert the remaining Christians that are still held captive in the mountains. This is Ngosha. This is Nigeria. The pattern is consistent. The churches burn, the mosques are spared. At every turn, the Nigerian government is either complicit or catastrophically incompetent. It declared an enemy defeated that was a kilometer away and still staging mass beheading videos. It encouraged and paid Christians to return to a kill zone. It handed millions of US dollars cash to a terrorist organization and called it a rescue. It attacks those who defend themselves, abandons its own soldiers, denies its own displaced, and through all of it, it lies to its own people, to the press, to the United States, while paying Washington lobbyists to keep the lie running. Now here's the bigger picture. This is not just religious persecution. It's not just a humanitarian crisis. What's happening in Nigeria is an ongoing Islamic jihad conquest with global ambitions. It must not be filed under international religious freedom, where good causes go to die. This is a vital national security issue. Nigeria is the 6th largest nation on earth, on track to be the 3rd largest by 2050. 1 in 13 humans alive will be a Nigerian at that time. It's a top 5 OPEC producer with $1 trillion in minerals. Its trajectory is unstoppable. The only question is who controls it and whether it carries great good or great evil. This is what you must know. Nigeria is captured by a 220-year-old Fulani caliphate. They project the illusion of secular democracy like a reverse Wakanda to hide its rotten core. The caliphate was the largest pre-colonial empire in Africa, and it is still today the largest enslaver of free Africans in the history of the world. Still doing it. Its founder was a Fulani warlord, Usman Dan Fodio. A blood descendant of Muhammad, his teachings are widely revered and taught today. His grave site's like a mini Mecca, they call it. He founded the caliphate explicitly to be the platform for the Mahdi, the prophesied jihad messiah. This is all through his writings, his teachings, which are still taught and revered today. To purify the platform for the Mahdi, he taught and practiced a virulent doctrine that Muslims who do not submit to their rule and join the jihad must be slaughtered. This is, of course, in addition to Christians and others who stand in the way. That's Dan Fodio's doctrine that's taught today and revered. The colonial British did not conquer the caliphate. They co-opted and rebranded it, partnering with it as their enforcers and deal makers. They called it indirect rule and locked in its control and independence. They armed, supported, and covered for it when it starved some 3 million Nigerians to death, mostly children, during 30 months in 1967 to 1970 for refusing to submit to the caliphate. They ruled through military dictatorship until 1999, when one of those dictators wrote and inflicted a constitution that mentions Sharia in Islamic terms 165 times, not one Christian reference. It ensures the Caliphate North permanent control of political power, money, minerals, the military, and government jobs. That's what Nigeria is today. The same tribe, the same tactics, the same results, what we are seeing today in Nigeria is one unbroken jihad and genocide since 1804, following the methods, the teaching, and the prophecy of the Caliphate's founder. This is the longest running genocide on earth today. In total, up to 6 million killed, 10 million enslaved, and 25 million displaced since it began, unbroken. By my own calculation, and it's drawn from the historic record. The ruling elite is stronger and more in control now than ever. They continue to purify Nigeria to be the Mahdi's platform, and they are on the verge of completely hijacking the nation's trajectory. Today, the man rewriting Nigeria's national curriculum, every subject, every grade level, is literally the top scholar for the Boko Haram philosophy. He calls his work intellectual jihad. He controls the classrooms of some